Steve Aglash here.
Wolfogle present.
Melton present.
Foster present.
All present.
Cheng present.
Let's see, any oral communications? Seeing yes, come on up.
And I also have a document. Is it okay if I approach? Or? Good evening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I'm Catherine Martineau. I'm the Executive Director of Canopy. And I wanted to update you on a letter that I have, that you have received from Canopy about 3 weeks or so ago. The letter was meant to draw the attention of the city on some concerns that Canopy has regarding the welfare of the urban forest and the overall green infrastructure of the city in the wake of further conservation measures for water, basically. So you have received a letter. There's nothing new about the letter itself, but what is new is that last week I received a response to this letter from City Manager Jim Keane, and I wanted to draw your attention to this response. It's a very nice letter. It's very, gives us great hope that we are going to be able to conserve and protect the forest and also make sure that we have water resources in the long term. So, for example, the city manager reinforces that we are committed to maintaining a healthy, vibrant urban forest, that he will direct or has directed the urban forester to work with Canopy, but also with the utilities department in order to find programs or solutions that will help us achieve those two goals. So this is all very positive and we're pleased. There are two things that I wanted to mention, however. The first one is that one request that we had in our letter was that the city consider alternative rate structures for the water rates. We are worried that with the increase, very dramatic increase in water rates that is needed to cover the costs, there is an incentive or that the residents are encouraged to conserve further with maybe the promise or implied or understood promise that they will save money if they don't water their landscape as much. We are a little bit worried about that. There are alternative rate structures that exist. For example, in Southern California, the Irvine Ranch Water District uses a budget-based water rate structure, and we would like the city to examine whether this would be a good solution for Palo Alto. The other thing is that in this letter, there are no timelines, there are no milestones, and I'm hoping to meet with the urban forester, Walter Passmore, very soon and come up with some kind of a calendar. And I will communicate that to you, and I hope that I can enlist your support to make sure that those goals and those milestones are reached, and that you can help monitor them as well. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, Ms. Martineau, and thank you for your work with Canopy.
You're very welcome.
Okay, next up, no more oral communications, no. Next up is approval of the minutes. Anyone have comments on the minutes?
I move approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed. Anyone have any agenda review and revisions? Hearing none. Reports from commissioner meetings, events. Anyone have anything in that area? Okay. Director of Utilities report.
Thank you very much. Valerie Fong, Utilities Director. Hope you all had a happy Halloween. A few things I wanted to update you on. Demand response pilot. As you recall, we were running a demand response pilot program. We wrapped up the summer 2013 demand response pilot program on October 15th. There were 5 events that were called over the course of the season, 3 of which occurred in the first week of July. 7 large commercial participants, including Park, HP VA Hospital, Palo Alto Office Center, SAP, and CPI participated. Together, those participants committed demand reductions of 600 kilowatts and were able to save nearly 9,000 kilowatt hours during demand response events. Those participants received certificates of appreciation from the city at the October 30th facilities managers meeting. The pilot will continue next summer, beginning May 1, 2014. We also worked with a local startup called Recargo to test demand response for electric vehicles. Text messages were sent to registered EV owners, asking them not to charge during the demand response events. Preliminary data indicated some level of energy reduction, but a larger data set will be needed before any conclusions can be drawn. Communications update. In October, we ran our Public Utilities Awareness campaign. In addition to utility bill and newspaper ads, we also provided information and giveaways to hundreds of people at various events around town. And you got to preview our There Will Be staff video, and it got over 300 hits. In October, it's also our Call Before You Dig campaign, our pirate-themed effort to raise awareness about using the 811 service, including TV ads, print ads, and several Halloween-related events culminated in a performance of our Call Before You Dig theme song before the council on November 4th. We will continue this campaign year-round. Eco Home, Haunted House. Over 200 children and adults explored the many booths at our Halloween event and got their fill of both candy and conservation. The Graveyard of Dead Technologies was popular, as were the Pirate booth, offering the chance to sing Call Before You Dig, It's a Yo-Ho, Yo-Ho kind of a song on camera, and the Safety Detective Penguin booth, where kits enabling kids to make their homes safer were gobbled up like candy. Tours of the Eco Home itself mixed resource efficiency education with horror, such as a cackling pumpkin man that burst forth from a high-efficiency toilet. An additional positive aspect of this event was our coordination with Public Works and libraries, who also had educational entertainment on site. The water supply situation, on a little more serious note, although it's very early in the water year, it's off to a very dry start, and water supplies and storage are less than at this time last year. In addition, there are concerns that ash and exposed soil from the rim fire could lead to water quality impacts in the case of a very quick spring runoff event. We're monitoring the situation, and it's still too early in the water year to predict the amount of hydroelectric generation that can be expected, but again, we're continuing to monitor the situation. Last item, and in the absence of tonight, in the absence of the chair, we may be either seeking the chair or the vice chair to help us out here in accordance with the bylaws, but we are developing a new way to present the financial forecast for each of the funds, and we have plans to provide a draft financial plan template to the UAC in December or January. We'd like the assistance of an ad hoc committee of the UAC as our plans are being developed. Again, it's just a kind of compressed time frame where we'd need some help. The committee could also assist in the review of the CIP and operating budgets, as it has been done in past years. So we'll go through the chair or the vice chair and see if they would be willing to appoint at least one of you, but maybe 2 would be great to help us with this.
Can we just discuss that briefly right now and do it? The obvious people are the folks who served on the budget ad hoc committee last year, which, unless I'm mistaken, are Commissioners Melton and Waldfogel. Am I remembering correctly?
I believe that was the case. Maybe
So
maybe they'd be willing to help us out again. It's,
Done.
Thank you very much. And that concludes my report. Although maybe they wanted me to keep talking because it looks like we don't have quite our technology stuff back up.
I was wondering if the director could say yo-ho-ho again.
No, but you know what? We actually do have somebody who knows a yo-ho-ho song, who wrote the yo-ho-ho song. And if you ask her, she will do it. And it is pretty funny. Actually, we have also other performers in our midst who were very involved.
Okay, I assume we have no unfinished business that anyone knows about, so let's move on to agenda item number 1 of new business, and that is staff presentation on the city's fall 2013 RFP for renewable energy projects.
So for the viewing audience, we may need to apologize since we are seeming to have some technical difficulties here. We may need to just work off the hard copy.
Well,
Senior-
and is there any logic to reordering our order here or
Well,
not?
I think that the father with the 2 young kids would prefer to go home.
Okay.
And the rest of us are willing to stick it out. So perhaps we'll let Senior Resource Planner Jim Stack walk us through, and we'll do the hard copy. And if our singer down there is able to get the electronics back up, we'll handle that.
Okey doke.
Let's, if you don't mind, we'll ask you if it's possible to switch 1 and 2. Oh, you're 2. Carla wasn't going to be here. And see if you actually want the presentation, or you just want to have a quick discussion, or how you'd like to
So I
proceed.
say it's fine. I assume no one objects to switching 1 and 2. With respect to the presentation, I personally do not believe we need a presentation on 2, but if any, 2 is the various gas rate adjustments. Does anyone on the UAC believe we need a presentation on this topic?
Just killing a rate that nobody has taken.
Exactly. We're eliminating a rate that no one uses and making sort of conforming changes elsewhere.
That is correct.
Here, I'll if you'd like, I will move to approve the staff recommendation on number 2. Is that a good enough motion? Specifically to, I mean, it's 3 points here. Terminate the city's natural gas direct access program by repealing gas rate schedule G4, and then eliminate, repeal gas rate schedules G11 and G12, and then make various conforming changes as noted. For example, in the 21 pages of definitions, which I'm sure we could review one by one, but we'll probably skip that for now. That's my motion. Oh, sorry.
So, Chair, I had a couple of non-substantive, one non-substantive comment. But
Bring it on.
It probably would not affect.
So one quick moment of procedure. I think we second before we discuss.
All right.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, but hold on a second. So wait, if we have a second, now we discuss. Now we discuss. Okay, that's right. Go ahead.
So the only comment I had was really a non-substantive one. That is, I noticed that in the definition set, the very long definition set, there is nothing on transportation or distribution. And I realize that there's some complexity there because it could apply to gas or electric. But in the context of gas, I think it might be helpful because in the G1 rate schedules, the G8s and the others, you have an element in the rate schedule there that, well, there's the commodity, there's the transportation and the distribution piece additive to the total rate. And I think that some customers might be perhaps confused as to what the transportation distribution is. Maybe especially so because now we're not having any rate schedule element that explicitly, as far as I know, maybe the electric generation part is the exception G8, but there's no other category that has a PG&E or a PG&E transportation or distribution element to it. So the point would be that if someone had to read the rate schedule, perhaps they might think that the transportation and the distribution element applies to PG&E's part, but as I understand it, does not. Those elements are wrapped into your overall rate, and then you have a transportation and a distribution piece which is internal to Palo Alto. So I think the definitions would help.
Thank you very much. We can make those corrections the next time we submit this in for cleanup, and hopefully they can be adopted as they are now.
Yep. That's okay, yeah.
Any other comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, carries unanimously. Director Fong, are we ready to go back to number 1? Or do you want to go on to number 3?
It looks like we're almost there.
Okay. Should we engage in light banter while we wait?
If you wanted to hear our song,
Oh, we could never,
is that a hesitance to actually?
I'm happy to sing, but I'm not a good multitasker, so I can't sing and
We would, of course, love the performance, but in the interest of letting Mr. Stack get home to his 2 young children, I guess we'll proceed with the agenda. Oh, you spoiled it.
All right, good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for having me here tonight. So I'm here to give you a quick overview of where we stand with respect to our renewable energy procurement efforts and meeting our RPS and carbon neutrality goals, and also to discuss the results of a recent RFP we issued for new renewable energy projects. And we're requesting no action with this item, but I just wanted to give you an informational item here. Okay. So I'll quickly go over our existing portfolio of resources and show you how we stand with respect to meeting our RPS and carbon neutrality goals. And then I'll talk about some of the reasons we have for why we issued a new RFP for renewable energy recently, and then I'll go over those results from that RFP. So the first slide here shows a pie chart of where we expect our resources to be coming from in the year 2017. We have an annual load of about 1,000 gigawatt hours, and in an average hydro year, a little over half of that is expected to come from our large hydro resources. In addition, we have 2 wind projects and 4 landfill projects that are currently operating, and they're currently supplying about 21% of our needs. In addition, we have 1 more landfill project that's expected to come online within the next 2 months or so, and that's pretty much a sure thing, and that is expected to supply about 3% of our needs. And then beyond that, we have 4 solar contracts that we've committed to in about the last 12 months. And altogether, those would supply about 23% of our needs. However, to be totally honest, the outcome of those contracts is a little bit uncertain at this point in time. They're expected to come online, 1 of them in 2014 and 3 others at the end of 2016. A couple of those projects still have to get their interconnection agreements